Good morning, Vietnam!
So who wants to talk about the Fallout 76 clone Rust?
Bitch bet!
The truth.
Similarities of
76?
Fallout 76 and Rust.
Yeah, I
That's
found
the
this shit all
biggest-
over Reddit.
That is the biggest shit that I'm hearing right now about it.
Okay, so like off the bat, I can see one similarity. Like it's all multiplayer with barely any NPCs. I mean, Rust has like a few of them in vanilla, but pretty sure Fallout 76 isn't gonna have any.
Well, okay, when we're talking about NPCs, are we including robots
Non-playable
and
characters.
Well, non-playable characters, but I'm more or less talking about
shit?
NPCs that add to the progression of the storyline in Fallout, like they, in so many Fallouts before.
Okay, I was gonna say,
Oh, well, I mean, we don't know for sure. I mean, we might have to fight some monsters or some shit like that that might pertain to the story.
Well, yeah, but that's like I feel like that's more of quest oriented. Yeah, like that's the story right there. Like that's partaking in the quest. That's not going up to some dumbass and saying, "Hey, you want to go and kill 50 fucking these rats
50
over
fucking
here?"
death claws?
Yeah.
Eh?
I think I'd pass on that quest.
Oh, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
You mean death sloths?
No. Okay.
Actually, the death claws are now flying death claws.
Yeah, fuck all
Actually,
that.
keynote, you're both wrong.
What?
Death claws are still in the game. So, in other words, scorch beasts are probably bats or something else that's fucking mutated as hell that has wings. So, feel you,
That's gonna be
homies,
great.
but fuck. Let's talk about
Dark Souls 76. Am I hearing that?
Am I hearing KYS? Let's talk about the enemies. So I'm wanting to call it Mirelurk. Like in the trailer, they show the dark background and then the glowing eyes. When I saw it, and it was like a shadowy mist. I'm wondering if that's a type of creature, or if that means they're like a higher level.
I'm
You know-
kind of. Go ahead.
You know what I think would be kind of cool is if like, okay, so like imagine like a dynamic wasteland, and whenever they're around, it gets like very misty and shit. So like imagine that monster or enemy or whatever, but coming at you where you can barely see the bitch, and like maybe that's like something that has to do with the real time VAT system. Like you're not gonna be able to kill this bitch with like
because it's not going to
Yeah.
stop time. I'm trying to think which game. I think four
speaking
still
of
done
fire-
it. It just slowed it down.
yeah.
Wait, slowed what down?
The enemies, but in the other ones, they would freeze.
Yeah, they'd pretty much stop.
So, how are they going to handle the VATs? Because I heard that they're going to be like real-time VATs. Like, how's
Okay,
that supposed to work?
So here's the thing. Imagine VATS. Okay, as a skill system.
Yeah, I heard, or when I was reading earlier, I saw that they was talking about how you can make your character, like if you're not very good at using the VATs, then
Or
you can
playing
like
the game,
make your
you can
character set up
use
to make you
VATs.
better at it.
If you don't trust yourself, then you can use VATS pretty much.
I mean, I can say right now that anytime I'm doing any PvP, I'm probably just gonna, aim and
Blow
shoot
them the
without
fuck
VATs.
up,
Yeah.
So the other thing was how I was talking about the dark mist around them, probably
Yep.
being like a skill or a advanced enemy. They do have skulls still, so that was really good.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if they like inflict like some kind of poison damage or do something.
What if it's just more rads? I mean, what if that mist
That could
is like
be.
hardcore radiation,
That could be it.
and that would explain why their eyes are glowing, maybe?
So let's touch on the subject of the sloths. I feel like they're a little too fast for their own good.
Yeah,
I feel
for
like
real.
Cody's been waiting for this topic for a while now.
I have.
Yes,
As
he
soon as I
has.
seen a picture of him, I'm like, where the fuck did they get sloths in West Virginia? And then you guys had to pop my bubble with zoos.
Yeah, we popped your fucking bubble, alright. It's called a zoo,
It was a good
you
bubble pop
bastard.
though because you needed to know.
It's called a zoo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I
But that's
forgot
the
to
other
say
thing.
statistics.
What zoo is going to have like 30 of those fuckers in one area?
Someone that's doing a disservice to mankind.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck wants to go to a zoo to see a sloth?
Hey man, I'm a sloth. Why don't
Sloth
you do
needs
that?
love too.
You know, seeing all these mutated animals, I bet like when the first Fallout released, PETA shit itself.
Yeah.
You killed a dog. Fuck you. Another good. I know I'm brushing through topics, but another good one. Super mutants.
Yeah, that was a discussion me and you had the other day, actually, which is what kind of brought this about.
Yeah.
know-
So this is a year, wasn't it?
It was. I want to. Okay, so I think that this game takes place in. What was it?
It's 25 years after the bombs were
But
dropped.
we're talking
Well-
about before the events of Fallout 1, the general falling in the vat, and all that shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought
okay,
that was
so, like-
300.
Because after the Master fell into the vault, I believe that was his name. Yeah, the Master, wasn't it?
Yeah.
After he fell into the that vat vault or whatever the fuck it was that
Vat.
mutated him.
Fev.
That's pretty much he's what led to the super mutants being created or whatever. But due to the timeline of when it actually happened, it wasn't until I think it was like three or 4 years after the vault actually opens. So my question is, what kind are we actually going to full blown encounter? Because he hasn't actually made them yet. Like the timelines before they were actually made.
But the
There are,
experiments.
but he was starting the experiments on them, but
he didn't
see,
perfect them.
here's the thing that's been like bothering me about that is like from what I was like from the lore standpoint of it, or from the how it goes from what I've read and stuff. He didn't actually let any of the people that he turned into mutants. He didn't let any of them leave the cave. From what I read, he just ate them. So it's like if he didn't let any of them leave, then where'd they come from? Where'd the mutants come from?
A whole lot of inbreeding.
Oh my god. They would have
I
had
mean, it
to,
is West
like-
Virginia.
Okay, you need to stop there. I think maybe some of them might have escaped, because I don't think he'd be able to eat them all. But still,
Well, he wasn't capturing large amounts of people either, though. He was just catching, like, what would happen is whenever like people would wander by, that's who he would get. He wasn't actively going out and looking for people.
Yeah.
And then during the winter time, there wasn't nobody coming around. Period. So it's like
sort of got fucked in the wintertime with the whole people situation. Because people, let me tell you something. If it's dead winter, and nuclear winter, my bad, dead nuclear winter, my ass would not be going out. My ass would be fucking next to a fire. Yeah, fucking someone next to a fire. Sexualizing them. But it'd be beside a fire and enjoying the nuclear winter.
So this leads back to the original question: where are
How?
where are these super mutants gonna come from?
I'm still wanting to stand on that subject. Like the whole, some of them might have got away from him or something. Because I
don't
think
know,
they're
maybe
early. They're considered early class. I want to say down the tier of them.
Well, I'm sure that this game's going to be rich in lore. Because every Fallout is.
God,
I'm sure we'll be able to find, consoles, Pit Boys. I'm sure we'll be able to find something throughout the world that'll talk about, where the enemies come from, or something of the sort. I'm sure. I'm sure in time,
Okay,
or maybe
so
even later in the year. Who knows?
we talked
Yeah, I
about
mean-
Scorch Beast and the mutants. Oh wait, hold on. So let's think of the super mutants as more of a variant of them, but more humanoid.
Are they like? Are these like mutants that was like? Are they like people that was affected by radiation, and
I
that's where the
think
mutation come
like-
from?
I'm
Like
thinking-
super mutant betas.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
I want to go on a limb here and say that they're super mutants that was from the radiation of the bombs, because if he hadn't started making them yet, I want to say that it's probably just radiation that's affecting it, honestly.
Oh, but back on the subject of enemies, How about the fucking ghoul-looking bastard, tall boy, lengthy boy, bony arms and shit?
Maybe those were the people that didn't make it into the vault but still survived somehow.
Well, that's the thing though. See, ghouls, they're still a thing, but these fuckers, they're like another breed of some shit.
I kind of want to talk about Nuka-Cola, if I'm being honest with you. I wonder how big of a role it's going to play, because, in all the other Fallouts, Nuka-Cola has been like,
Gold.
yeah, it's been like, precious. It's very precious. So, like, and, with this taking place right after the bombs dropping and no other, no other people really having come out the vault, I don't think, except for, like, maybe a select few or some shit. I wonder if we're going to get to encounter any Nuka-Cola factories that are, maybe like not operational, but
They probably have one. There's always one in the games.
Like the way that I see it is like, okay, so think of Nuka-Cola like Coke. You know how like as you get older
Coke.
in time, like looking backwards, like the bottles look different.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like for most, like the majority of the Fallout games, they've looked similar.
They're always
so
the same design, like a rocket.
Yeah, so maybe in this game they're going to go with an aspect of the, like, I'm going to say like one of the first models of a Coke bottle. Like you can tell that it's going to be at an earlier stage than the other ones.
That's going to be interesting.
Grafton monster. I know this is something that a lot of fuckers have talked about. In other words, the tank from Left 4 Dead.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So the way I see it, this motherfucker, like the Scorch Beast, can fucking rip through your buildings.
Well, there's got to be some way to stop it. Nothing's
Kill it,
Bullets.
Clearly.
like all of them, or a whole raid party.
That actually brings me to a hearing that really makes me want to bring up another point. The whole, I want to say world events. Like, is there going to be like some super spoopy like
legendary
monsters that's going to pop up that like the server's going to have to team up to
Well, not necessarily the server, because if you think about it, I mean, you can group up together to take this thing down. You just got to make sure you have the ammo, health, items, all that shit. But the events, they give you, I think they give everyone the chance to get, like, if they participated in the event, they get a chance to get legendary items, legendary, like, armors maybe. I'm not sure, because that hasn't really been touched on. But items, legendary items for sure. But the way I see it going is, you know how in Skyrim, when you played the hardest difficulty, I forget the name of the enemies, but the dragons. Super fucking OP
I know what you're talking about.
I'm wanting to lean more towards that's the way they'll do the world events. Like, there'll be super fucking hard enemies around. And you gotta be, like, top tier decked out to fight them. Or at least the final boss.
How are they going to handle the, because this is supposed to be an RPG type deal.
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to handle, like, I guess to keep it balanced for PvP, because like obviously people's gonna they're gonna say my DPS, so they're gonna want that damage per second going on there. So
yeah, they're gonna want stronger weapons.
Yeah, so how are they going to keep it balanced so you can still kill I guess ads in this case whenever you go to whenever you're getting overrun? How are they going to make it to where you're still going to have the whole fun of a Fallout game where the guns are really, really good, but yet still keep it fair for the whole PvP? Because I can't really see it being fair for you to be able to mow a Deathclaw down in like half a second. Not possible, by the way.
I mean,
yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's called a Gatling laser. Look them up.
I feel like the leveling system, especially like the perk system, the 6 perk system or whatever, I feel like that's going to be really innovative for this game, because they're taking that turn to an RPG MMO.
Mm-hmm.
And from past Fallout games, I feel like the leveling system and everything was very fluid whenever you knew what you wanted to build. But I feel like this one's kind of just going to lean you towards Like, do you want to be tank heavy? Do you want to shit out a lot of damage? Do you want to be able to take a lot of damage? Like, I'm feeling like that's going to be the
class
way that they
system.
go. Yeah, more of a class instead of a level.
I can see that kind of working out to some degree, but you know, I wonder if have they said whether or not like the armor and guns and stuff like that's going to affect stats any?
That's the
Because
thing.
if so,
Let's sit back real quick, okay, and let's follow the combat mechanics from Fallout 4, because this game is basically a copy of it, just online. Okay, so back to the gunplay. The way I'm pretty sure it's going to work is, you know how you'd fight NPCs and they had specialized armor that would protect them from energy weapons, heavy weapons, all that shit?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's going to play out just like that. The only difference is everyone's going to have their own equal opportunity to get the weapons. Because or at least, well, that's what I hope. But I'm hoping everyone can have the equal opportunity to get the weapons. So in other words, let's say someone's wearing metal armor, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty much going to be, I guess, a bullet sponge until you bring out the whole energy weapons. So,
yeah, I mean,
laser
I can
pistol, laser
definitely
rifle,
see that.
laser Gatling. And let's say, like, the combat armor, it's going to work the same way, but cut it. You know what I mean? It's going to cut portions off the damage and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So,
And I mean, I feel like, okay, so that brings me to the point of the, like, loot mechanics, loot systems. Like, okay, so imagining this is a MMO, you know, based of what we learned at E3, PvP is going to give you pretty much in-game currency and XP. So whenever I'm guessing that the main part of your loot, like the armor, the guns, you know, the ammo, all that, like, juice of the game is going to be coming from, you know, enemies, monsters, stuff like that. Because if you save your progression and your inventory every time you die from, like, a raid or a PvP encounter, then that would mean that you're going to have to get the bulk of what's going to make you super OP from necessarily, like, you know, in the other Fallout games, pretty much going through, you know, areas and going and clearing out, you know, enemies, high level boss enemies and stuff like that. And just like you said earlier, the events are probably going to be where you get your main bulk of the good shit, for lack of better words.
Could you chill up over here? Bitch hit the road like a motherfucking deer. Get hit too, shit, bitch, might as well. I don't even talk, all I hold do is tell. I'm standing on the boat, finna set the damn sail. I burn insect, cause my brain like the smell. She get a whiff and thought that it was a spell. I ain't say come, but she at the hotel. Fucking nigga, me.